let's talk conservation. Conservation is a process of capturing the animals on the open worlds, and in this case I'll be showcasing conservation on Deimos, the new infested open world. There are a few bits and pieces you need to learn to be able to do conservation, but once you've done it a couple times, it'll be easy for you. So I'll go over the equipment I recommend, the methods you can use to capture the animals, and a few tips to help you make sure you get the absolute best out of your time. So the first thing you'll need, and this is a necessity, is a trank rifle. If you've not got one already, you can head over to Sun and pick one up from him for 500 in Trati standing, but the same trank rifle is used from Plains of Eidolon and from the Orb Valleys, so if you've already got one, you're good to go. Make sure to go to your gear in your arsenal and equip it somewhere, ready for you to use. So the best frame to use for this is a Vara, and this is the setup I use with her. First things first, preparation is an amazing mod. It fills up almost all of your energy before you start. An infiltrate here will make it where you move a bit faster whilst you're in here, invisible mode. Otherwise, the main thing you want to be looking at for Ivara is duration, using these mods here, and and continuity. That gives me a fair duration in invisibility, and Streamline makes it a bit cheaper for that to run. Add-on flow for the extra energy both on starting and just overall capacity. For Aura, I've gone for enemy radar. This one, I mean, it may not be the best choice overall, but it matches the polarity, and let's face it, when it comes to the polarity of this Aura slot, Energy Siphon looks nice, but it doesn't work whilst you're in Prowl, so that's no good to us. And similarly, Sprint Boost, it doesn't work whilst you're in Prowl, so really Enemy Radar is the best one to go for. And with Strength, as long as you don't dump it, you're fine, you don't need any more. It does affect the speed boost from Infiltrate, but it's not something you want to build for, just don't dump it. If you haven't yet got Ivara, Equinox can also do some of the good work there for you. The reason she's useful is for her rest and rage ability. Now on her build for this, the Aura slot, it doesn't really matter what you have there. So you can have Enemy Radar, or you can have Sprint Boost if you want, or you can have Energy Siphon, whatever fits your playstyle really. The main thing is having a build set up ready for this ability here. You want to be able to put a larger area of enemies to sleep, or animals to sleep, and keep them asleep for a longer time. To get the duration, get the range, you don't need to worry about strength whatsoever. And of course, just get the mods on that suit you for that. Things like Preparation, Prime Flow, always good tickets. What's that? You don't have Equinox? Okay, fine, grab Loki. This gives you an alternative for invisibility, but it doesn't give you a sleep option, so really, this one, just focusing on pure duration, stay invisible as long as possible. And again, have your mods to support doing that without having to wait to try and gather up energy from whatever means. When it comes to the Loki, using sprint options, such as Armored Agility with the Aura, will allow you to move around that bit faster. So when it comes to actually doing the conservation, there are two methods you can go about. The first is to simply fly around the edge of the open world area. Using your minimap, you can see where anything is spawning. If it's an enemy, just immediately move on from that group, as enemies will attack most of the conservation targets. Instead, what you're looking for is make sure the head crabs are gone. And what you're actually looking for is basically a single or group that isn't fighting anything and isn't an enemy. This is one here. This tells us this is one of the Predosites. I think this is a common one. Yep, there we go. And because I'm Ivara, I can just put it to sleep using one of Ivara's quivers. There we are. Nice and simple capture. It says it's a perfect capture. Perfect doesn't matter. Good, bad, perfect. It's all just the same really. So the other method is you can open up your gear wheel, grab your tranquilizer, and switch to an Echo Lure. This is the tracking method. And we have to get out of Archwing for this to actually work correctly. And as you see, when I switch to an Echo Lure, it removes some of the options from the map. So we want to have the correct Echo Lure out, and that will guide us to where we want to be. I'm going to be invisible for this, and sometimes the starting point actually spawns inside of a cave, so it'll navigate you to a cave, and then you need to make your way through to find where the point is actually at. A bit of rolling later, and here is the start point. It creates us this little ephemeral trail to follow. Each one has a different colour depending on the major species, so this one, because it is a pinkish colour, it's one of the birds, the Avachias. There's no shortcut in this, you just have to carefully follow the trail, and if it goes into the undergrowth it can be a bit difficult to follow, so sometimes you may need to backtrack. Just take it steady, you'll get there in the end. This one turned out to be a relatively quick trail, but usually you'll find it is considerably longer to get to the point you need to be. Once we get up to this little station here, we then need to use the echolure, which I'll let you listen to. And once you get the response, get yourself ready and look at the UI to mimic it. Back to it. And with that done, it is now a case of taking stock of the situation, being ready for the creature to come on in. The birds always come from up high, whilst all the other creatures come down on the ground. The birds, being small and flying like that, will make them difficult to see. Let's just get rid of this guy and see where that bird is coming in from. Oh, and there we go. Like I say, a bit difficult to see, but you get there in the end. It's a lot easier when there's a blue sky. And that is how you do the tracking capture method. I mentioned earlier that the tranquilizer is required for conservation, and that is because of these velocipods. If I just go up to it now and use a sleep hour on it, yeah, they're stopped. But if I actually go up to try and interact with it, when it shows me, I've got the ride option. That's not going to allow me to capture it, so instead it needs to be tranquilized. So first we... okay, that was weird, and now it's not going to give me the option, is it? Okay, let's wait for them to wake up and we can do that again. So, do you use a tranquilizer? No, you're not allowed to leave either. There we go. And now we have the option to actually capture it. So the next tip I've got for you is the shared capture range. As you see, I'm just over 50 meters away here, and yeah, up goes the animal, I get no reward. But if we move just a little bit closer, get within 50 meters, sure enough, you get the reward. So 50 meters is the range to share it with your teammates. So if you're looking to get yourself an infested companion, first it needs to have been shot by the infested, and then you can shoot it. No tranquilizer dart needed, just shoot it, and you can capture it that way. It's a bit cheesy, but that's Warframe. It works. So that wraps up that when it comes to conservation. If this video has been helpful for you, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe as well. For now though, drop lures, follow trails, and fight well, Tenno. Oh, what the fuck?